Welcome one, welcome all six of you. Yeah, it's Aaron Live, last second live stream. It's lunch with Aaron today, although I don't really have anything to eat because I'm not going to eat lunch till after we're done. But you can eat lunch if you want while you're watching. Oh, excuse me. I had a couple of strawberry Newtons, a lot of fig Newtons with the strawberries inside before I came up. And cheers. Well. Let's see who's in the chat. Not many. Fly Fox Pro is here. DJ Yachtman. Get ready for work. What up, boys? Joe Bernardo. Aloha, Aaron. Jimmy Owens. Hi, Aaron. Hey, Jimmy. Welcome, everybody. Okay. So what happened last night was I was on Ken Carson's 4C show, something like that. There's Ken. Ken, why can't I remember the name of your show? It's 4C something or other. Well, anyway, somebody that was on the show or in the chat last night in the shows, it's a sketch show. So I was like drawing commissions and stuff for people live. And someone got in touch with me and said, "Oh, I didn't get picked last night, man. I really want this. Can you do it?" And I went, all right. Because I don't normally do headshot commissions. So as home commissions, but since he was on the show last night and he wanted one, didn't get one, I'm going to do one for him, and I'm going to do one for him live. So there you go. There it is. Ken's giving me 4C Comics. So I had the 4C. I was right. It's 4C Comics. But they do a lot of original art stuff, and so you should check out Ken's channel when you get the chance. Danky Frankie says we should all break bread together. If I had like a loaf of French bread, I'd just rip it in half right now and we'd dig right in, but I don't. So anyway, so let's get a quick I don't know actually how effective this is when there's only 7 or 8 people watching, but hey, a little public service announcement. A little public service announcement before we get started. There we go. That's right. Make sure you like and subscribe. In fact, a couple of people always like to get in here and give us the old thumbs down, and that's okay, I guess. You're entitled to your opinion, gosh darn it, but have a reaction one way or the other. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. This channel is so fun and exciting. How could you not be subscribed to it? Plus, even if it sucks, it doesn't cost you anything. So help a guy out. I lost my hair. At least subscribe to my channel to give me something. Okay, enough begging. Kevin Thomas is here. Jimmy wants to know how Shelly doing. Her migraine's getting better. It's something she's dealt with for a long time. It's it's an up and down kind of thing. She just got back from teaching, so she's crashed because she has a tutor later today, and then then she and I, me and her are going to be on Pop XP tonight with Billy Tucci. I thought we were doing comic book couples. I don't know if that's what this is, if it's the launch of the comic book couples show or if it's something else. But anyway, it's 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern time, and sometime in the Central time zone. I don't know. So there you go. Thumbs down or just trolls. Well, they got to have some purpose in life too, right? Yeah, Comics Exposed is Aaron almost 100K. I know, but it's like we're crawling there. It's stressing me out, which is so funny because the campaign is doing really well. Obviously, I'm not going to complain because we're at 97,400, almost 97.5 or something. But now it's like, oh, I just so desperately want to get to 100 just so I can say I did it. And it's just like crawling along as we got we're to the last 5 days, last 4.5 days, whatever it is. And it's just like, oh, someone backs here and then someone backs there. And it's like, just get to 100. Plus, it unlocks yet another goal. And I would like to, in my defense, like to say that this campaign has a lot of like extra freebies not associated with the comics. You know, like some people say, we're going to upgrade the paper, or we're going to upgrade the cover, or we're going to do this or do that. And I'm already planning on, you know, doing a high quality production. So it's, you know, I'm giving you extra stuff like stickers and prints and cards and things like that. So, so there's a lot of good freebies attached with this campaign. So if you haven't signed up, if you haven't backed Wraith of God, let me encourage you to do so. There's a link in the description of this video right now that you're watching that you can just zip over there and sign up if you would like to. So anyway, I know most of you watching right now already have, so, but those of you who might be coming in later to watch this video when it's not live, think about it, because it's going to be really cool. I've been sharing artwork. There's plenty of artwork on the campaign page, as well as the stuff that I'm sharing on social media. And I just sent out a big update blast to everybody that's signed up to see the artwork that I've done so far that maybe they've missed on my social media posts or on my live videos. I keep reaching for something and then I come back to talk so anyway, yeah, so I've got to do a drawing for a guy. The question is, what am I going to do? I think I know what I'm going to do, but he gave me two options, so I'm going to double check my other option just to make sure that I'm not missing a golden opportunity to do something. Let's see. Domino or Typhoid Mary? There's a picture of Jenny McCarthy. She sure is good looking. All right, enough about Jenny. But here's the thing, I know the cash grab is a joke, right? It's not really a thing, is it? Or is it just the latest comic? I mean, like when I say latest, not like, but it's like super late, right? It's like the latest comic out there. It hasn't ever come out. I thought it was a joke. I thought the cash grab was actually him making a cash grab. This book will actually come out. So I don't know. I'm not disparaging what's his face? Oh, is it old age? Is that what it is? Oh, I can't remember. Cecil. I'm not trying to disparage Cecil. But I'm never sure with him if the whole cash grab is just a, you know, it's just a, if that was what it was a cash grab, it was just a joke, or if it actually is a book. If it is a book, I know it's like super late, so I don't know. Yeah, everybody wants Typhoid Mary. That's kind of, I was leaning in that direction too. So let's do Typhoid Mary. I'm doing it on my tan paper. I wonder if this paper is more expensive. I didn't even look. I just picked it up and bought it. I didn't even look to see if it was more expensive than the white, but it works so much better on when live streaming. So let's quit looking at me and look at the paper, shall we? There we go. I'm in a Hawaiian shirt today. A nice wrinkly one, but you know. Yeah, you're late, but not too late. I haven't really done anything yet. To quote Matt Hooper in Jaws, that makes a lot of sense. Cash grab is real, but it's also a farce, I guess. He's been serious once or twice. It's actually coming out, but Don't Delay is doing art. What do you expect when an artist's name is Delay? That's pretty good. Yeah, it's Donald Delay. Okay, so we're doing Typhoid Mary because we have a lot of hair to do. I do have a a little reference. I actually have that comic, that her first appearance. I'm not a big Daredevil collector. I did have a pretty good Daredevil collection at one time, but I liquidated a large portion of my collection back in like 89 or 90, so I could get a down payment on a truck and buy like my first car. And then I built it back up, and then well, that's not okay. I traded a bunch of my collection for Spider-Man #2, like in the early 80s. And then I traded another huge batch of it, or sold a huge batch of it to get a down payment for a car. And then, of course, this went back to rebuying. And what I did do, though, is I rebought most of everything that I had to begin with, but I bought it as much higher grade. So it, you know what? Darn it. I got to leave room for her hair. So I have everything that pretty much that I used to have that I really wanted, but in much higher grade now. And then I sold my Spider-Man collection about 5 years ago because I finished it, and I don't know. We're remodeling the kitchen or something, so. It seems so disingenuous, I guess, maybe is the word I'm looking for, to sell your collection to actually pay for something. It's like, no, you never sell your collection. But I have done it on a couple of occasions. But then, like a true addict, I just keep going back and collecting more. So, but I guess the one positive thing I can take from all of it is, instead of having, 30 some long boxes full of comics, I now have 20 some long boxes, short boxes full of comics. So I have a much more manageable amount of comics to deal with for storage purposes. And they're all like, super high grade stuff for the most part. So but I never feel good about selling anything. I'm always looking back going, oh, why did I sell that? Oh, why did I sell that? It always seems like a good idea at the time. Although I must admit, if I still had my Spider-Man collection right now, I would sell it, because the collector prices on these books are going through the roof right now. And I would absolutely cash in on it. But then I would just buy some more comics. So would I really be gaining anything? I don't know. I love how Typhoid Mary has that like sort of 80s cowl neck sweater thing, collar around her neck. That's pretty funny, actually. Those used to be the big thing, right? Oh my gosh. Look at this. Leg kick is here. But I can't say leg kick is always here, because he missed the last live stream. So now I can say, hey, leg kick is here because he's almost always here. Yeah, Lee Weeks is terrific. I love his stuff. Ooh, look at this. It says, so you're Travaco wants action, baby. Oh, Jimmy sent me some money. How about that? Thank you so much. I Greatly appreciate that. You're the best, sir. Thanks for all the help and support you and Shelly have given me. Jimmy, you're more than welcome. Thank you for the $5. It'll go to a good cause. Probably help pay for my fake guns I just bought for Wraith of God reference. I'm so excited. I'm going to get like this big box full of toy guns. It'll be like Christmas. Okay, let me find my pen. The proper pen is always important to the execution of a good drawing. I don't know if that's really true or not, but it sounds good. Tools are always, you know, they're okay, but it's kind of what you do with the tool that makes the difference. Although some stuff is definitely better than other stuff, material-wise or product-wise. What am I trying to say? There are some pens that are better than other pens. That's what I'm trying to say. Come on now. There we go. There we go. That's kind of the sweet spot right there. Although I should, I don't know if I can get this farther behind me. Last second live stream, folks. This is what you get. Okay, that seems reasonable. She's got to be kind of wild-eyed, right? Because she's nuts. I think that's kind of her shtick, isn't it? She's crazy. Does Daredevil have more female villains than, or formidable female villains than any other superhero? Because he had Elektra, and she was nothing to be trifled with. And then he had Typhoid Mary. I guess those are the only two that I can think of, so. But other than like Madam Web, did Spider-Man have any female villains for the most part? And I'm not counting the female Dr. Octopus from the animated film. Oh, she's freaking me out, man. She's scaring me. See, obviously you've read a lot more Daredevil than I have. So yeah, the reason I don't normally do headshot sketches like this at home, because they're relatively cheap, and so I'd assume I'd get a lot of requests for them, and then to have to mail each one of these out individually for basically an inexpensive sketch is not, it's not worth the time and trouble it takes me to package stuff. Because anybody that's ordered art from me knows they get I do a really thorough job of making sure that the artwork is packed so it won't get damaged, or at least minimalizes the chances of it getting damaged. And so if I'm going to spend an hour packing a piece of artwork, it needs to cost more than $100, so that's why I don't normally do these. But since this gentleman was on in Ken's audience last night and missed out I thought I'd do one for him. And so here we are. Plus, to be honest with you, I needed a live stream today because this, of course, being the last week of looks like she could be the Joker's girlfriend or something. This being the last week of the Wraith of God campaign, I have to get out and do live streams and promote, right? As annoying as that probably is for some of you. So, gee, Aaron, can you talk about something else besides Wraith of God? Let me think. No. I wonder who does her hair. I mean, obviously, if she went to a hair salon and she was doing her hair, people would go, wow, you look just like Typhoid Mary. So it'd be really hard to keep her identity a secret, I would think. If she does it herself, wow, she's got my respect. I wonder if JR Jr., how much of this detail in the hair he actually indicated in his pencils and how much he left for the inker to kind of do. Yeah, I let you guys talk me into this. Now I got to do all the hair. Kevin Thomas says there were some female green goblins. I assume that's what he means by goblins in the last decade or so of Spidey, but I stopped reading around 700 while in college. 700, man, isn't that crazy to think about that? I mean, it is for me, since I remember when I started buying him off the newsstand, he was on issue 136, 136, 138, I think is the first issue I bought. So yeah, that's a lot of years. As a friend of mine who has a store, Bedrock City actually, told me one time, he goes, do you realize that we are right now farther removed from the Bronze Age of comics, which would have been the 70s basically, than we were as kids removed from the Golden Age of comics, which of course would have been the 40s. And that was a pretty shocking revelation of how old we were when we took that into consideration. But the Bronze Age right now is farther away from us than the Golden Age was when we were kids. This is a Micron 08 for those of you keeping score at home. So I was using the Le Pens for a while. I switched over to them, but I don't think their ink is as black as the Micron ink is. They're both supposed to be archival inks, but The Le Pens tend to lose when you erase over the top of them. They tend to dull out and gray out more so, I think, than the microns do, which is something that needs to be taken into consideration. Yes, let me, what age was the 80? Kevin Thomas is correct. That is considered the Copper Age. Let me see if I've got this sitting here in, pardon my shoulder. I don't know if I still have it on here or not. Oh yeah, I did a little video. If you haven't watched it, check it out. It's on my, if you go to Aaron Lopresti YouTube, and it'll give you the selection of all the videos. There's live ones like these, and then there's uploaded ones, which are pre-processed videos, or whatever you want to call them. Anyway, so here's a little preview of a very, very short documentary, if you want to call it, on the ages of comics that I did. So take a look at this for a second. "1897 marked the beginning of the first real recognized age of American comics, the Platinum Age, with the publication of R.F. Outcult's Yellow Kid in McFadden's Flats. This book was a collection of Yellow Kid newspaper comics, and the Yellow Kid was the first cartoon to utilize word balloons. A fine condition copy of this book only goes for about $15,000, but there are no known copies that have not been restored that go above this grade. In 1938, the golden age of comics began." There you go. So there's a little preview of a little video I did on the ages of comics. So, or the comic book ages, not the ages of comics. So if you have any interest in that, it's only, I don't know, it's like 7 or 8 minutes long. You can check that out, and it'll answer all your questions about the comic book ages. Oh, poor Art. The thing with Art is, though, he still has all of his hair, so I can only make fun of him so much. I never thought about it, Kevin, but that's deep thinking right there, man. Deep thinking. This is interesting. I'll check that out. I did not, let's see, switch from microns to Tombow Tech pens. I'm going to write that down. I'll check them out. Tombow Tech pens. Look at Leg Kick is doing a little promotional work for me. Appreciate that very much. I got to be honest with you, I hate being a salesman. That's really not my thing. I don't like to have to talk people into doing stuff. I prefer them to go, wow, that looks really cool. Let me back that. Or, I mean, I do understand the necessity for salesmanship, but it's not something I'm a big fan of. I never have been. So it's always difficult for me to go out there and go, hey, buy my book. It's awesome. It's great. It's fabulous. It's fantastic. Even though I may believe that to be true, it's still something I really like doing. So I appreciate you bearing with me as I've had to, sort of keep Wraith of God at the front center of everything that I've been doing for the last, 60 plus days. I'm fatigued already. Look at this hair. Bill Maxwell just jumped in. Howdy, Bill. Glad to see you. This Travaco is really pushing those tombos. Okay, I'm intrigued, man. I'm going to go check them out. This hair alone is worth more than $100. Well, 60 plus days, Danky Frankie. I'm talking about when it was just a sign up before it went live. There was 30 days of sign up, so I had to I was pushing it for 30 days before it even went live, and then 30 days after it went live, and then I extended it for 2 weeks after. So that's where I'm getting my 60-day count from. That's true. You're not begging for money. You're giving us something in return, and that is sort of the thing. I am selling you something. That's the truth. Wraith should be at the forefront. Get the word out, and then hopefully word of mouth does the work for you after that. Correct. That's right. No, it's really interesting because I'm getting to a point. Obviously, I'm working on the pages. I've been showing them to you. But I'm finishing up the pop-up book that I'm doing for this book company. It's Marvel characters, but it's a pop-up book. And Matthew Reinhold is the guy doing the book, and he's like the the superstar of pop-up books. His stuff is so awesome. It's so complicated though. So it's like you're drawing these characters, but you're drawing them in multiple pieces, and it's a lot of work actually. But I got to finish that up. I'm doing a cover for an independent comic that I promised the guy I would do. And so once I get the pop-up book done, and then this indie cover, which I'll be finishing up this weekend, then it's all Wraith all the time for the next, 3 months or however long it takes me to get it drawn. And I got to start finding some time to get back to doing some Kit Carter daily strips as well. I've kind of left those of you who have been reading them on my blog page on my website, kind of left you hanging. I think with episode 7, Zing the Zealous has captured Kit, and she's waiting for Merv the Astro Chimp to sort of come in and rescue her, or at least follow the plan that she set up that would involve him mounting a rescue operation. But will he wake up in time? Will he quit eating lunch and drinking beer long enough to save her? I don't know. So I do want to get back to those, and I got to figure out I'm going to do a Kit Carter story, as I mentioned, I think yesterday, that I kind of want to do an anthology book next that features multiple stories of multiple characters in the Lopresti verse, and Kit would be one of them. But I also want to finish up this story arc that I'm doing on the were essentially what are full page, like a newspaper strip kind of thing, episodes that I want to finish up. And I'm hoping that when I'm working on Nothing But Wraith full time, it's sort of in my spare time, I can work on a little Kit Carter on the side. At least that's my plan. Tina Turner. That's pretty good. Classic Tina Turner. Look at there. I'm giving me some love on my horses. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. Koi Fam says, looking good, Aaron. Thank you. Kind of fantasy settings do you like? Well, if I had, so that's a good question. I like barbarian storylines, so anything that would fit into that genre. Also a big dinosaur fan, so not in the sense that I pursue, dinosaur science or anything like that, and like an expert on the Jurassic era and I just like drawing them. So from an artistic standpoint, I'm a big dinosaur fan. So, and I actually have a series that sort of plays into that mold as part of the Loprestiverse that we will actually get, I think, previewed in the Loprestiverse sticker set that everybody that signed up for Wraith of God will be receiving absolutely free, along with their order. Called Primal Zone. I actually have done an 8-page preview story I did several years ago, sitting in a drawer over there. I can't use it because one of the characters, he had a robot partner in it originally, and then I ended up taking that robot and using it in Power Cubed, which is another creator-owned series that I actually did a miniseries through Dark Horse several years ago, and there's a trade paperback that was also available in the campaign, the Wraith of God campaign, until I sold out of all the copies I had available to me. I might have a few more, because I have 100 copies, but I sold 80 of them, and I'm trying to figure out how many to hang on to, in case a book gets damaged or something in the mailing process, and how many I can offer up as add-ons or something. So I may when the campaign goes into in demand, I may actually add a another perk on there, or I should say, not add another one, but bring one back. Because I took down the Garbage Man stuff and the Power Cube stuff because I don't have any copies right now to sell. And if I can get more, then I'll put them back up until they're gone. Till the ones that I, get, the extra ones I get are gone. So, all right. So we know that half her face is white, right? So I'm going to go really bold here and sort of paint this face white with my little Presto paint gun, if I can get it to work. It's about out of, come on. So, of course, David Williams. I always give David credit because he turned me on to this thing. There we go. Well, just, oh, you guys can't even see it, can you? It's going to wash out. See, that's what I'm doing. Probably would have been easier to do that with a white pencil, now that I think about it. The question is, do I have a white pencil? I know I do, but the question is, where is that dumb thing? The heck with it. I'll just go ahead and use up all my whiteout. Gotta see what I'm doing there. This has a very narrow tip on it, so it's not the best thing to be doing large scale whiteout like this on, but of course if I did it slower it probably would be fine. I'm just always in a hurry. Oh, now it's coming out. It's flowing, baby, like a river. That's what I want. All righty. Let me see if you guys can, yeah, see? It looks a lot flatter than it actually is. There's some texture in there, but it's not bad considering the narrow, tiny tip on this pen. Let me see if does this go down her neck? Or is it just on her face? Now, looking at the picture I'm looking at, it doesn't really show me. It's like every shot of her is like looking down that I can find, and it's that's a hard way to see what's going on in her neck. No, I think it's just on her face, at least from what I can tell. So it's going to be artist's privilege here. I'm surprised at how long this this pen is. I'm surprised how long this pen has lasted for as much whiteout use as I've got out of it. It's still, I thought it was about dead, but I think it just because the whiteout just dried in there and kind of clogged everything up. But man, it is really flowing right now. Fabulous. Okay. Do a little shadow underneath her chin here, just because. So I'm getting psyched for all the monster movies to start showing up on TV now as we're getting really close to October. All right. Check that out. Okay. Let me switch cameras here so you don't have to look at my Hawaiian shirt back anymore. Let's see if we can get a better look at this. Like this. There we go. Typhoid Mary, ladies and gentlemen. Now, see, AJ Tom's been using those Presto whiteout pens for years. He says they last forever. How about that? See, that's the kind of stuff that would be like Jim Lawson did a short series called Paleo Tales of the Late Cretaceous, something like that. Are we talking about? Oh, actually, no. George Perez is not hosting this show, but AJ, how about if you host this? Let's see. Mark Schultz is long overdue to draw. Mark Schultz, right now, and has been for the last couple of years, is working on his Xenozoic Tales. And last I talked to him, which was it's probably a couple of years ago, last time I saw him at a show, he was we were talking about old age and how it affects you as an artist, right? And that I guess the consensus is, the general consensus, of course, every case is different, but the general consensus is by the time you hit 70, you start losing your skill, right? So anything before 70, you can still bring it 100%, best stuff of your career. Post 70, you start to lose it, okay, generally speaking. So, and he's older than I am. by a few years. So he was like, I've got to get this last Xenozoic Tales thing done before he turns 70, and I can still, do great work. So I know that's his focus. I know he does, commissions, and he's working on that. When it'll be done, I don't know. But that's what's up with Mark Schultz. Dinosaur fan, so you really like Art to Bear. Oh, any shot at art I think is good, but that was a little weak. Boo! We're gonna have to do better than that. Don't forget Kirby's Devil Dinosaur. Oh my gosh, that was I remember that came and went with not much thunder, but it has hung around and sort of has a life secondhand. Okay, that's better. That's better. And there's Danky Frankie jumping in on that as well. 70 nonsense. Art is doing his best work post 70. Well, thank you that's very nice of you. And whenever you say something nice like that, you get this. What was it? I think it was, I prefer to think 70 is the new 30. These days, science can be ignored, so why not dream big? Exactly. But was it Chaikin who told me, hey, a long time ago, he said, remember, 60 is the new 40. So I went, oh, okay. Yeah, Statistical Zero is happy that actually someone else dropped a bad joke besides him. So let me show you something, since we're talking about Mark Schultz. Some of you have already seen this. That is my banners. That's not what I'm going to show you. Some of you guys have seen these, but this is my sketchbook that has art in it from other artists. So I'm going to show you this again because it comes up. And like I said, I figure those of you who've seen this, it's worth seeing again. And those of you who haven't seen it will love it. So this is my sketchbook that I take to cons when there were cons. And that I have other people draw in. And you were bringing up Mark Schultz, so that made me think of this. And I also looked up and said, my gosh, we've even gone an hour. I can't stop a live stream shorter than an hour. So let's take a look at this. Oops. So again, okay, so I opened my own sketchbook because I thought, number one, it's going to cost me a fortune to pay somebody to do a double page spread. And plus, I figured if I could go in there and do it, I could do a really nice piece to put the pressure on whoever followed me, right? No, it's not Promethea, Dan, behind me. That is that's sort of my version of Wonder Woman in armor, although I didn't call it Wonder Woman, but that's kind of sort of what it's supposed to. Oh, my ankles are vulgar. Yeah, well, actually they are probably pretty disgusting. Okay, so anyway, I opened up with Man Thing and Howard the Duck, and of course he says nice shortcut. And back here, I should color this in a little bit because it says Aaron and Shelley's sketchbook. So if we ever got divorced, we'd be tearing this apart. Okay, so then the first person I got in was Adam Hughes. And I went to Adam and I said, dude, I said, I can't get you I can't have you do a sketch of my book and without it being a female character. I said, but at the same time, I said, I love your humor stuff so much. I said, could you do like Mr. Mitzel Pitlick dreaming of Supergirl? I said, but Supergirl could just be like small, like up here, you know. I didn't. Of course, he went to town and did this like 3/4 figure of Supergirl, and Mr. Pitlick is sitting there drunk, saying, "Say my name, say it." So I've got some great Adam Hughes humor, and then of course the Adam Hughes babe that he's best known for. Don't let Garney draw in it, or he'll do something like he did in Graham's book. Yeah, I know. I'd love to get Ron in here, but I don't trust him. This is Alex Nino. I just said do something weird, and he didn't disappoint me. He did something weird. This is Bill Stout, William Stout, to those who don't know him as well as I do. This is Tars Tarkas. That's his. We traded, I think, so I didn't have to pay him for this. This is Michael Golden doing Doctor Strange. I still want him to ink this. I'm going to have to catch up with him and have him ink this for me. I went and had Kevin Nolan do a Jack Pumpkinhead for me, or Merv Pumpkinhead, or whatever the heck his name is, because I thought it'd be funny. He was. You should have seen his face when I was talking to him about doing something in the book. He was waiting for me, I'm sure, to go, will you draw Batman for me? And I was like, can you do Merv Pumpkinhead? And he's like, seriously? And I'm like, yeah. So he was like, all right. Hilary Barta did this for me. I wanted him to do a zombie for me, so he did. And he said, and I said I wouldn't be caught dead in an Aaron Lopresti sketchbook. And so he put his name on the gravestone here, and I'm like, well, dude, sign it. And he's like, I'm not going to sign it. And I said, sign it. So he wrote this. Aaron asked me, no, insisted that I sign this, Barta, being the curmudgeon that he is. David Brohawk Williams says, get John Beatty to ink that Golden. No, I'm getting Golden to ink it. Here's my Schultz piece. Now, what happened with this was I was talking to him at San Diego, and I said, hey, I'd like to have you do I said, I'd like to have you do, a piece of my book. And he's like, I don't like sketching at shows. And I said, okay, would you take the book home with you? And how much would you charge me? And he's like, oh, I don't know. He goes, let's just trade. And I went, are you kidding me? He said, yeah. So I did actually a pretty nice Deja Thor's Tars Tarkas piece for him. And I sent it to him because he'd had the book for a couple months, and I was like, I'm never going to get this book back. So I said, I'll do a piece, send it to him, apply the pressure. So I sent him the piece, and like not a month later, this shows up, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I don't know how much. If I ripped this page out and sold it, it's probably $3,000 or $4,000. If he ripped my page out, which it already is ripped out, it'd probably be $300 or $400. So I won big on this trade. This is Chris Ayers. If you don't know Chris Ayers' work, he does a book called The Daily Zoo, and he's a cancer survivor. And once he went into remission and recovered, he's a character designer for like film and stuff. And he's worked on, Penguins of Madagascar. I think he worked on Alien versus Predator. He just, works on all sorts of stuff. And he does this book where he basically does an animal or a creature a day. And then he collected them all in a book, and then he does it every year now. And so this is actually, he ended up using this piece in his book, but I had him do a piece. I was working on a Wonder Woman at the time, so I traded him a Wonder Woman sketch, and he gave me this alligator, or pardon me, it's a crocodile, with some remnants of Wonder Woman in his mouth there. You got her golden lasso down here, her band, armband, wristband, and apparently her trunks. So that's a watercolor. So that's really sweet. This is 09. Wow, man, that's a long time ago. And then I corralled Hilary Barta really just to piss him off because he's such a curmudgeon that I was like, Hilary, he was at San Diego, and I'm like, Hilary, come here. And he's like, what? I go, draw my book. He's like, I don't want to draw your book. I said, come back here and draw my book. So I made him come back to my booth, and he drew my book, and I said, draw me the spirit. And I'm not really feeling the spirit. And I'm like, dude, draw me the spirit. And so then he drew me this thing, which was actually incredibly funny. So you've got, it says, for Aaron, now leave me alone, best of everything, Barda. And he has this barbarian guy with a ray gun blasting a hole through this alien's head. So you can't really go wrong with that. This is Peter DeSev, who many of you would know as cover artist for the New Yorker magazine. And he also did all the character designs for Ice Age and Robots and other films. And so I had him do a scrat in my sketchbook. So there you go. I also have an original painting of his hanging up on my wall. All right. Now this is an idea I got from David Williams. I went over to David, talked to David at San Diego back in 2009. So what was that, 12 years ago, 11 years ago, 12 years ago? And he had this great Nino piece, but it was like different. And I was like, dude, what is this? And he goes, I penciled this and I went over and had Nino ink it. And I went, genius. That's how you manipulate an artist into drawing exactly what you want him to draw in your sketchbook. So I went and drew this zombie and gave it to him and said, ink this. I said, just do whatever you want with it. I don't care. And so he inked it. And like a dummy, I didn't have him do it in the book. I had him do it on a separate 11x14. And I had the book with me. Didn't even dawn on me, right? So then I ended up taking this and gluing it in here, gluing it into the book, because I really wanted it in my book. So there it is. It's in the book. And so I got a zombie piece out of him, just like I wanted. And Travis, I was at a San Jose con, sitting next to Travis. We were talking, and I said, dude, I want you to do something in my book sometime. He's like, oh, yeah, no problem. And I said, how much do you charge? And he goes, oh, we'll just trade, right? Like, okay. I said, okay, if that's what you want to do. So, but I didn't have my book with me, right? So I brought it the next year, and I said, dude, remember when you said you'd sketch in my book? And he's like, did I say that? I was like, yes. And so I said, I want you to do a Conan in my sketchbook. And he had this print of Conan on the table, right? Because he didn't want to draw it in the book. And he's like pointing at the print. And I'm like, dude, I want an original, not a print. And so he's like, fine. And so he took the book and he did this. And this is one of the another example of how I piss off artists. But anyway, so he says, Aaron, now you die. So, but he did it and I got it. And I still owe him a sketch, but he wanted me to do, he originally said he would do something in my sketchbook, or I could do something in his sketchbook, but he never produced it. So what am I supposed to do? So if I ever run into Travis again at a show, if we ever have shows again that everybody goes to, I will offer up my services to do a sketch in his book. So that was pretty cool. Let me make this perfectly clear. Cecil will never touch this sketchbook. I'm just what else do I have? Okay, so then I had Terry Dodson do one in my book, and it took me forever to get him, even though I've shared a booth space in San Diego for 20 plus years. I finally got him to do something in my sketchbook. So, and then the last one I think I got in here was Penelope Gaylord, who I discovered at Baltimore 2016. And she was doing these really kind of wonderful sort of animation, golden book style pieces. And so I asked her, I said, what do you charge him for these? She goes, $100. I went, you're charging $100 for watercolors? She said, yeah. I go, okay, do one for me. And so, I got her to do one in my book. And that's it. Now I had some guy whose name just escaped me. Oh, for crying out loud. Anyway, I had that guy that I had him do a sketch for me, but I didn't have my book with me. But I wasn't going to let him get away without doing a sketch for me. So I have a Supergirl piece from that guy, but it's not in my book, which is kind of disappointing to me. So So David Williams is the next one to go in here, and I see that he is in the chat saying that blank page is my drawing of the Invisible Man. Well, no, it isn't. Boo! You're actually going to do a real piece in here for me. Well, to make you really sick, $100 is a steal. Yes, that's what I paid for that Adam Hughes piece too, is $100. That was before everybody started going on the internet and selling his stuff for thousands of dollars, and he raised his prices. So getting a affordable sketch from Adam Hughes was easy back in the day. What was hard was getting on his list because everybody was on his list, right? But yeah, I paid $100 for that. But this is way back. When did I? 06. Yeah, so this was 15 years ago. But and all those people that say markers fade and blah blah blah. 15 years and going strong. So anyway, it's a small collection, but it is what I've got. And like I said, David Williams is next to get in there. His Invisible Man piece is easily one of his best pieces. I agree. That's right. Now, yeah, David is going to do something in my book. Yeah, that's really true. Adam was a guy. I mean, he was very affordable. It was like we were all charging like $100, and some of us not even $100. It was like, well, Adam's charging $100. How can I possibly charge that much? If he's only charging $100. But like I said, he'd do like 10 sketches at a show or something for $100 a piece, and then the next day on eBay they're up there selling for $500, $600, $700. And so that was the end of that. You can find all you want, and it's never going to happen. I'm very selective about people that I let in my sketchbook. I don't always get all my friends in there. There's certain artists I want in there, and that's who I'm getting. So, and then cue the dog to bark. But everybody says they want to be in a sketchbook, but it's actual work, and then it's kind of like, nah, I don't really want to do it. But so I haven't been real good about taking the sketchbook to cons with me in recent years. Excuse me. So it hasn't really been updated, but hope springs eternal. The funny thing is, I got this really big sketchbook because I wanted big sketches, but then it's like hauling that thing around. It weighs a ton. It takes up so much room in my carry-on. It's kind of like, that's why I don't bring it half the time. So it's kind of counterproductive. But even if I have to ship this out to David Williams, which actually I'm probably going to have to do, and get him to do a piece in there. Cecil should get the bottom corner of the last page, and then I would rip it out after he ruined my book. Some of mine are, some of them aren't. I don't really care about that, just as long as I've got a piece of art from them. Obviously, I'm not going to, cut open my sketchbook and start selling pieces out of it. I'm sure when I die, it'll go up for auction, as my son will cash in. Let's see here now. If I get a sketch or signature, I always ask if I can have it made to me. Their drawings are mine, and I don't ever want to look like one of those people. No, I get you. But I figure most people, when they come to me with a book, that it's not going anywhere. It's the ones that aren't in books that are easily sold and exchanged. So I'm more cautious about that than I am about sketchbooks, because I figure in most cases, people are not going home and X-Acto knife cutting the pages out and selling it. I mean, maybe some people do, but it would seem like a lot of work when they could just get a sketch or something on a loose piece of paper. So anyway, all right, we've gone over an hour, so I feel like I've fulfilled my contractual obligation to the show, and I got to get back to. I got to get that guy's cover done. I'm going to be in trouble. I promised him it by Monday, and I've got to Got a pencil, ink, and color it by Monday. Yee. So, well, now that we have a full house, let me do this real quickly again. And let me run this exciting video that I paid good money for to remind all of you to please back Wraith of God. And don't forget, it is an electrifying 72 plus page graphic novel, actually 75 possibly plus pages. Let's take a quick look here. Ooh, so we're at 97,497. That's not a bad day's work. Ooh, so yeah, so now we're down to 4 days. It was 5 days this morning. I don't know when it decides to flip over, but I think it ends midnight on Monday. If my count it, what's today? Wednesday, so it'd be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it should be done on Sunday, but I actually think it's done on Monday. That's why I think that 4 days is kind of weird and misleading. But anyway, that's the campaign. There's all sorts of good stuff on there. There's all sorts of groovy art on here. Someone was asking me to make a poster out of this. And Williams was saying, hey man, you should do like those metal posters. And he sent me a link to those. And those are actually pretty cool too. Pretty heavy though, to mail, but it's kind of an interesting thing. There's the retro 70s cover, Gil Kane inspired, that you can get. There's the Esther cover, which you can get, or you can get all three. We do offer a little package deal here for Wraith of God. 3-pack plus, so you get all three covers, plus this limited edition print. And now this print, these are interior pages right here. That's page 1, page 2, page 3. There's shooting, death, and burning in this page. There's the Esther card, which everybody gets. You get the card. Now here's the print. Now this is not a stretch goal. This is actually a purchase tier thing. But if you buy the 3-pack, you get this print. And it's going to be signed and numbered, limited edition, to however many orders I get for it. Right now, it's like around 300. So I might if it stays around that number, I might print up 350, have a few extras, but that's it. And they'll all be signed, numbered, limited edition, very limited edition. And that's actually a pretty cool piece of art, if I do say so myself. I penciled, inked, and colored it. There's the card that the early backers, people that signed up early for the campaign, will get one of these. If you bought after the fact, and you didn't sign up early, you don't get this, but I will have some extra ones available. So if you're a card collector and you got to get the card, there will be some available for, I don't know, $10 or something like that. And this is some of the original art tiers that I threw up there and have already sold. So all this original art was part of the campaign, and sold all of it. So there you have it. I also, let me take a moment while we're sharing, because sharing is what I'm all about. In case you missed the video yesterday, let me go ahead and quickly show you some work in progress. We saw the first 3 pages on the campaign page. This is page 4. So we see the Wraith tackling the guy that was running from him, pulls out a gun and, basically shoots him. And then we have our third guy that got away. He's hiding behind the rock, but the full moon has finally come out and he begins to change. Ooh, scary. So then we go back to the Wraith here on page 5. And he's standing over the guy he just shot. And he looks on his hand and sees a tattoo. There it is. Which is the tattoo, the Brotherhood of the Wolf. So he verifies that these guys are what he thought they were, a bunch of werewolves that haven't changed into werewolves yet because the full moon hadn't come out yet, but it just did. So he lights up a match and torches the guy's body. We don't want to take any chances with potential werewolves. And then he runs off after the third guy, but the third guy doesn't wait for him because he's now a werewolf, and he attacks the Wraith here, knocking the Wraith's gun out of his hand. Oh my goodness. What's he going to do now? So anyway, there basically you've seen the first 5 pages of the Wraith of God. I will, as we move along, I will preview more art, but nothing that's going to give, excuse me, any major story points away. So I'll give you enough to keep your appetite whetted, shall we say, and to let you know that I'm actually working on the book and not scamming you, and but not enough to ruin it for you. And so there you have it. So that's where we're at right now at this moment in the campaign. Let's address a couple of questions here before I tune out. Dojo says, thanks for the show today. Appreciate it. Hey, thank you for dropping in, Dojo. Let's see. That Alien Barbarian is one of my favorites. I assume you're talking about from my sketchbook. Nice Batman statue. You know, that Batman statue is from the Warner Brothers store. And Shelley claims she bought it for me. I'm not sure that she did, but she may have. But it was only $20. Now, granted, that was 25 years ago, but still, I was like $20. Yeah, give me 2. I actually had a Superman one too. Man, I apparently got rid of that. No, actually, I don't know if I ever bought the Superman bust. I bought the Superman statue, which I still have. Oh, Frankie's throwing some shade my way. I officially don't like the 45 days thing. So you'd rather have the 60 days thing? I don't know that it'll still be open for in demand. So, you know, but there's a couple of reasons why I did the 45 days. And maybe it was smart. Maybe it wasn't. We'll see. What do we got here? Phoenix, I can do metal prints for you, and they can be many different sizes, but can you do them cheap? That's the question. I signed up early, but saw no way to link that to my purchase. Is that automatic on your end? What are we referring to? The print? I signed up early, but saw no way. Oh, you're talking about the card? I'd take care of the card. You don't have to do anything. I should have sent you guys a code because it would have made my life easier, but I didn't. Being the novice that I am when running these campaigns and understanding how the software works and everything, I figured stuff out later after the fact, but I should have sent you guys a code, and then you could have entered the code in with your order, and then I could have recognized when I'm going through your orders and filling your orders, I would recognize the code and say, okay, he gets a card. Now I have to cross-check everybody with all the emails that I got when you guys signed up, which can be a pain in the butt for me, but that's my fault, not yours, but I'll take care of it. So if you don't get a card and you're supposed to get a card, let me know. And that's not an invitation for you guys to lie to me, because I will go back and double check to see if you actually did deserve a card before I send you one. But anyway, that's how that works. Who did I decide on to color what? The interiors? I color all the exterior stuff. All the covers and the cards and the prints, I'll color all that stuff. The interiors, first option goes to Brian at Hi-Fi. If he can do it, then he will do the colors because he did the first 3 pages. If he doesn't want to do it or can't do it, because I don't even know if I can meet his page rate or not. So that's sort of, but he's got first dibs on it. And I think he wants to do it. So, but we'll see. Preston Sparks says, love your art. Can't wait for the book. Thank you. Everybody's bugging me. Do the black and white edition. Do the black and white edition. If I do a black and white edition, which I might do, it wouldn't be until my next campaign as like an add-on for the next campaign. So, but I might go ahead and do that. Jimmy says, thanks. Thank you for showing up. Benjamin Lee is coming in just as we're leaving. Great timing, Benjamin, but you can go back and check it out if you want to, because I did a what's her face? I keep wanting to say Poison Ivy, but Typhoid Mary sketch. And Phil Noto was who I was trying to think of, who did the Supergirl sketch for me. They didn't make it in my book, but I have over in the drawer. Yes. Yes, next campaign, I'm gonna do something different. I mean, a lot of guys have like secret tiers or whatever that if you sign up early, you get to do this. And maybe it's a discount or something that is easier to manage than, a product that only certain people get and other people don't, which seems like a pain. And I'm sure I'm sure it'll really be a pain when I'm fulfilling the orders, but what do you do? No, it does not. The only thing I think different in demand is that they take a higher percentage, Indiegogo does, of the funds that are raised. So I actually get less for in demand. That's why I'm encouraging everybody to sign up, obviously, before in demand. But the in demand the store will stay open basically until the book goes to press, because there's always going to be scragglers and people that roll in late and whatever else. So, and as I run out of certain things like the Garbage Man trade paperback and the Power Cube things, and there's less stuff available, obviously, in demand than there was, during the regular campaign. So, anyway, there you have it. Okay, so that's show and tell for today. Thanks for joining me. Remember tonight, 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock East Coast time, I'll be on Pop XP with Billy Tucci and the gang, and so make sure you check that out. And then Thursday we have the Professionals. It looks like Graham is stealing my game show idea, but he's doing match game, which actually should be pretty fun. And I think he's bringing in two people from the chat to participate in the game. So basically, you guys get to match the Professionals. So it sounds like that could be a lot of fun. So you want to check that out tomorrow night. I think it's 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. So anyway, there you have it. And who knows? I may do another. Well, who am I kidding? Of course, I'll do another last second live stream sometime tomorrow. So hopefully we'll run into all you guys again. Again, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. I don't have a show if you guys don't show up, so I appreciate it. And again, if you can, back Wraith of God. And you guys take care, and we'll see